Good evening, Fralaflahiatu, and welcome to tonight's bulletin of BCN News. Leading the news tonight, according to the Internet World Statistics, which records internet use by countries, Niue tops the countries in the Oceania region in terms of internet use by head of population. Here's more on that story. The Oceania region, which includes the Pacific Islands, New Zealand and Australia, collects statistics on their use of the internet and Facebook based on per head of population. Records for 2019 showed that Niue is number one with 91.2% of the population using the internet, followed by New Zealand with 90.8% and Australia at 86.5%. The top 10 countries are Niue, New Zealand, Australia, New Caledonia, Guam, French Polynesia, Northern Marianas, Cook Islands, Tokelau, and Nauru at number 10. The other Pacific nations with internet users at over 50% of their population include Fiji at 54.5%, Tonga and the Federated States of Micronesia at 52.5%, and Samoa at 50.3%. The statistics on the use of Facebook. Guam tops the Oceania countries with the highest percentage of population using Facebook at 66%, followed by New Zealand and the Northern Marianas at 62%, New Caledonia in third with 53%, French Polynesia in fourth with 52%, and Niue with Fiji in fifth place with 51%. And in sixth place is Australia with 50% of its population using Facebook. And today is the International Day for Persons with Disabilities. A special gathering was held at the Commercial Centre in Alofi this morning to mark the day. Mrs. Lavalingi Mokalei, the Vice President of the National Disability Association, Niue Tolomaki Aoloa, spoke about the work of the association since inception 8 years ago. Mrs. Mokalei thanked the Pacific Disability Forum based in Fiji, which was instrumental in the establishment of the Niue Tolomaki Aoloa Association. The association took advantage of the day to request for government support for an office space and a space for the association to hold workshops and perhaps grow some of their produce to sell. Persons with disabilities in Niue receive a fortnightly benefit of $150. Mrs. Mokalei this year asked for this to increase to $300. Mrs. Gayleen Tasmania, who is the Director General of Social Services, also spoke about the beginnings of the National Disability Association.
When we established the Niue Tolomaki Aoloa Association, it had to be members with a disability. It could not be able-bodied people who would be driving this NGO. And along the way, we have lost members, but we also have noticed that unless you have strong leadership and strong drivers in there, things do start to be more relaxed. So I am so grateful to Ange and her team. The Disability Reference Group is not to replace the NTAA. It is to support the work of the Social Protection Program, which is a multi-country program.
The theme of this year is Not All Disabilities Are Visible. This year, a multi-country UNESCO program was also unveiled. The program is for Niue, Cook Islands, Tokelau and Samoa. This one-year program established a reference group to promote social protection for persons with disabilities. It is also tasked to provide a forum for exchange of ideas and information sharing relating to social protection between persons with disabilities in Niue. According to the Director General, this social protection program, the Ministry and the government has decided to focus on children with disabilities for this one-year program. Mrs. Bertha Tongahai is the Director of Education and the UNESCO Commissioner for Niue.
In the Department of Education, we have 5 categories for these types of students. First, students with physical disabilities, students with specific learning difficulties, students with behavioral or emotional problems, students who are special ability, talented or gifted, and students who lack the necessary proficiency in either Wangahau or English language. Let me convey our sincere thanks and gratitude to all of you who are gathered here this morning to witness this occasion, the International Day of Persons with Disability. December the 3rd is the International Day of Persons with Disability, to promote the human rights of persons with disabilities and their full and equal participation within all parts of society. Globally, it is estimated that over 1 billion people live with some form of disability, accounting for 15% of the entire population.
The International Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which came into force on the 3rd of May 2008, has been ratified by 182 countries, including 12 Pacific Island countries. Niue and Palau are the only two countries that have not signed the convention. The Solomon Islands and Tonga have signed the convention but have yet to ratify.
I know I've heard you time and time again saying that we need to do more, and that's why we had invested in intervention programs for our children, and that's why this theme is so important, that not all disabilities are visible. So you may not see people with disabilities, but you will see it in the school system, you will see it in the health system when our children are unable to read or write as proficiently as others.
And customers on the island are concerned at the increasing costs of local produce at the supermarket. The most noticeable increases are to the locally grown tomatoes, which is now costing $18 per kilo. A couple of months ago, the cost of 1 kilogram of tomatoes was about $15 per kilo. Yesterday, it was confirmed by the largest supermarket on the island that the cost has now increased to $18. One customer told BCN News that last week they bought a bundle of eggplants for $6.50, and this week the bundle has doubled in price to $13.50. The manager of the local supermarket said that the cost of the produce is set by the supplier. The supermarket adds their markup to cover power, storage and handling. The consumer tax, the NCT, 12.5%, is then added at the point of sale. The supplier to the supermarket told BCN News that they sell their tomatoes to the supermarket at $14 per kilo. The hydroponic farmer says that hydroponic farming is an expensive undertaking and they have to recover their costs. BCN News was contacted by some very disappointed customers that this is not right, especially if there is no justifiable reason for the increase in cost, such as transport or air freight, because these are locally grown produce. Another hydroponic supplier told BCN News that their tomatoes are sold at the gate for $12 per kilo and they don't have much in stock anymore. Meanwhile, customers are questioning the high cost of produce when it's understood that these local suppliers are recipients of the government's wage subsidies program, which pays part of the wages of their employees. One customer who approached BCN News says that something should be done to ensure the pricing of locally grown produce is priced correctly. Last month, the Green Climate Fund approved over $7 million for Niue. The government has since confirmed that the key implementing department for this fund is the Department of Meteorological Office, along with the Project Management Coordination Unit. According to a statement from the government, this program will ensure reliable real-time access to essential climate observation data, including the installation of a meteorological observation point on the island. The program will also deliver innovative approaches to disaster risk management through impact-based forecasting and forecast-based financing. The Director General of the Ministry of Natural Resources, Dr. Josie Tamate, says that this is a great opportunity for Niue. The program will enhance the ability of the country to collect and analyze climate observation and related data that will better inform their policies and planning, particularly with respect to disaster management and disaster risk reduction. The program will also enable the government to build on the data that have been collected over the years and expand their capacity to do much more. And Hagit Tongatule, the Conservation and Biodiversity Officer of the Department of Environment, has won an award, the 2020 Pacific Invasive Species Battler of the Year Award. The award was announced last week at the 10th Conference of Nature Conservation in Protected Areas, organized by the Secretariat of the Pacific Regional Environment Program, SPREP. Hagit Tongatule was awarded the Battler of the Year Award, recognizing the full range of work he is implementing to battle invasive species in Niue. Along with managing invasive pigs, Mr. Tongatule is also managing high-priority weeds, progressing natural enemy solutions for the widespread weed, especially taro vine, and also undertaking awareness-raising activities in the community. A humble young man, Tongatule, told BCN News that he was very surprised to learn of the award.
At first I was surprised, but then secondly I was happy that the region in particular recognized the work that not really I have been doing, but the department and a lot of individuals over the years have done for Niue. And I'm just a lucky recipient now, because I am the one responsible for invasive species now in Niue. But Niue is, I would say, one of the leaders in the Pacific when it comes to invasive species management.
Haggard is only the third recipient of the Bachelor of the Year award, which was launched in 2017. It is given to Pacific invasive species field-based practitioners who have worked at the grassroots level and have achieved an outstanding outcome for biodiversity from the use of minimal resources.
A lot of especially the pig hunting that comes after hours. I am thankful for the assistance that's provided by my family, especially my little brother. He's the one who's always been assisting me with a lot of the fieldwork. And I guess we do enjoy it, otherwise we won't be doing it. Because it takes a lot of time, especially family time. Because when people call up that their plantation is getting eaten by the feral pigs, you can't really say no. You just have to go and do the best that you can. And I am thankful for a lot of assistance over the years, because we've done this for a long time now. And I would just like to thank the Department of Environment and my family and all my colleagues that I worked with over the years.
And that's our news for tonight. You have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday. Until then, good night.